What up, people? It's the College Football Hangover podcast on I Live for Saturdays, the best college football channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at I Live for Saturdays 4, as in the number 4. And we are recording this on a Wednesday. We usually try to get this podcast out on Monday, but life gets in the way. Bunch of stuff getting in the way. Technical difficulties a little bit. On Wednesday, it's pretty sunny outside here in Chicagoland area. Pretty beautiful day. And this week in college football was pretty good. I think the second week outdid the first week. And today, I got the big O with me again.
What's up? Great week college football this week. Definitely better than the first week, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. There was some good games. I know some people messing up, particularly a certain conference messing up. And we won't stab at it. We won't keep kicking a cow that's down. People have been talking about him all week. You guys can talk about him. But Omar, what was your favorite games of this weekend?
My second favorite game this week was definitely the Jacksonville State versus Auburn. I thought Jacksonville State really showed some heart, man. And I really thought those kids really knew how to tackle.
One thing I took from that game, I can't believe Auburn couldn't defend not only the run, but the read option run. Like, they were completely inept in terms of trying to defend that. Because Jacksonville State ran down their damn throats. That I did not think physically that Jacksonville State would be better than Auburn in that side of the ball. I really thought Auburn would have the clear advantage in there, and Jacksonville State would have to do something crazy in the passing game to come away with a victory. And they almost did.
Yeah, and Auburn did what they were supposed to do, and now they're
got really lucky.
Got really lucky, of course.
Crazy lucky.
Yeah. My favorite game of this week was the primetime game on ABC. Was Oregon and Michigan State. I really, really feel like those two teams were evenly matched. Mm-hmm. I felt like sometimes in that game that Michigan State would start to pull away, but then Oregon would just come back and get their offensive flowing and get their defense stiff as nails. And I saw a guy out there who really, really impressed me, L.J. Scott, who I think is going to be a force to be reckoned in the next few years. He's only a freshman. He's a big guy. And
6'3".
Yeah, and ran over a defense that just went to a national championship.
Yeah. I know agreeing all the time sounds terrible and maybe not that fun, but my favorite game of the weekend was Oregon and Michigan State. I was in and out. I had some things to do with that game, but during that game. But my takeaway was that's a true big game. That's a LSU Alabama game. I love those games. I hate the big games that are hyped. One team comes out balls to the wall, and another team comes out flat for whatever reason. That was at times, guys were missing assignments. At times it was a little sloppy, but it's all effort at 100%. Okay, maybe you're making a mistake in terms of assignment. Maybe someone beat you, but sprinting, pure sprint, pure effort, left and right from both teams. I thought that was awesome. I didn't think Michigan State would pull it off, and they've proven me wrong time and time after again. I didn't think they would beat Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship a few years ago. I didn't think they would beat Baylor last year in the Cotton Bowl. This year, I really thought Oregon's got the pace. They've got the tempo. They're going to wear down Michigan State. They didn't. Michigan State's got all my damn respect. They really do. They are an awesome football team. They have an awesome coach, awesome staff, awesome program. I can't, tip my hat to those guys. They're awesome. My favorite players of the week, and again, we're saying the same game. My three players, which we usually have a lot more. Byron Marshall, Braylon Addison, and Royce Freeman. Those three guys, those are legit NFL players. And those are real weapons. I hope Oregon continues to use them more on their offense to help Vernon Adams ease his way into it. I would just use them pretty much in every single play. Those are three awesome players. Those are three NFL players.
Yeah, but, Michigan State pulled it off. And in my opinion, I feel like they really needed this win to really put them into elite status this year.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with they play in the Big Ten. Their schedule is not perceived as being a tough schedule. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like this week, to me at least, Michigan State is now generally a top 5 school.
Yeah, program.
Program.
Definitely. And let's go into some big news and some not necessarily 100% X's and O's football stuff, but Kelvin Taylor and Mcelwain. Omar, what's your take on that? Well, first of all, let me talk about it a little bit. Kelvin Taylor ran for a touchdown. It was a close game with ECU. Runs for a touchdown, comes back to the sideline, and Mcelwain completely lets him have it. He was face completely red, absolutely furious with him. I know Florida has been trying to take away all those the disciplinary penalties that they got from last year. Mcelwain's been trying to completely take that out, and Kelvin Taylor in the second game of the season, not a smart play, definitely not a smart play, but has a lot of people up in arms about how Mcelwain approached it. He's being forced to apologize publicly as well, I think, if not privately, to Kelvin Taylor. I don't know. We got some opinions on that, Omar. What do you believe, or what is your opinion on that whole situation?
Well, I think Kelvin Taylor was in a bit of a wrong here, because if one of the main focuses on this year for Florida really was to change the perception that they're an undisciplined team, and your coach preaches to be, to show like sportsmanship, be respectful and things like that, why do something that's going to cost your team possibly a field goal or get your team penalties? I mean, that just looks bad on the program. That you're making your team look bad if you do that, especially if that's one of the things that they wanted to change this year.
Yeah, and it is frustrating with a coach when you repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and practice and talk about, and in meetings you talk about and you talk about, and then in the second week you go completely the opposite thing what he just said not to do. Just did exactly what he told you not to do. And I understand the frustration of Mcelwain. And I understand also that there was a better way to approach that situation. And we're living in a generation and in a new world where kids are constantly asking why and questioning authority, which is a great thing. And there's lots of great times to do that, and there's tons of times to do that. And I think it's a good thing. We get better as a society. We get more advanced. That's awesome. But I do think at times when you're disciplining people that you love and people that you're trying to teach, which is kids, coaches in that situation, parents as well, there's times to raise your voice. There are times to raise your voice. And I know Eric on Twitter, he said, would you want your boss or anyone in the world to yell at you like that? We don't have Eric on this week. We'll have him on probably next week. But talking about how you wouldn't do that in other situations, and you'd probably be furious and punch the guy in the face for it. But I don't think you'd punch your parent. And that's what a coach is, especially when you sign that letter. That guy is pretty much your parent. And there are times where he's going to have to raise his voice. Hopefully he's not constantly screaming at his players for every single thing. It wasn't an assignment thing. It wasn't a football play. It wasn't a X's and O's thing. It was a disciplinary thing. He didn't make Kelvin Taylor do 100 push-ups or run sprints, or he didn't beat up Kelvin Taylor. He didn't spank him. He rose his voice, and maybe a little too much. But I think what Mcelwain was all right. This is a gray area. It's a great topic of conversation. There's a balance to it. I think there's somewhere in the middle where he could have been, in terms of disciplining or yelling at Kelvin Taylor. But to me, I'm not furious. I'm not up in arms about what Mcelwain did. I really am not.
I feel like I get what Mcelwain was trying to do. And I get that there's some people who think maybe he should have handled it another way. Maybe he should have waited till they were, alone. Bring him in his office, have a chat with him or something like that. But I think in a way, he's also kind of setting the tone that he will have zero tolerance for things like that, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's awesome. And if you have any thoughts about that, comment below. So, we just want to explain, because you might see in our first video or in this video as well, we have most impressive players of the week, and we'll talk about them sometimes on this podcast. We just do the top 5 in each position of every college football player throughout the week. We try to do our best, watch every single game possible, look at every stat, read every article possible, or conference player of the week. We try to do that. name the top 5 of each week. Who is the most impressive player? We also combined wide receiver and tight end because the game is changing, game is evolving, where the tight end is pretty much like a wide receiver. So we try to give out, mesh that together. Offensive line is also meshed up together. DBs are meshed up. All DBs together are also meshed up together. So, and at the end of the season, we'll give out most impressive player awards of the season. So if you guys are a little confused, or if you guys want to add someone's name up, go ahead. Completely, that's totally fine. We might not get every single slot of all the top 5 players. So if you guys have a guy that you like on your team or you saw, just add his name on, put in some stats, maybe just a little argument, just one sentence is totally fine. And we'll definitely more than consider it. We'll probably just put him up there because we like other people's opinions and we're totally open-minded of all teams and all players. So, yeah, this is it. We wanted to make this as short as possible. It's on a Wednesday. We want to get this video out. So, Omar, sign off, bud.
Peace.
Peace.